Yeah, go ahead.
All right, good evening. I haven't seen you guys since the fire.
I know.
The fire, it's been a long time. Hopefully we'll be back there pretty soon, although this is nice.
Good to see you.
Nice to be back. Recently, what's going on? Well, Saturday we had a fire, Sunday, Father's Day, we had a fire in Market Street, 96 Market Street, triple decker.
Yeah.
The boys rescued a young man on the first floor of bedroom. He was unconscious on the first floor, suffered some severe smoke inhalation. They got him out. He's in Boston. I went to Boston Hospital. Didn't suffer any burns, but he suffered a lot of smoke inhalation. But the guys rescued him, put the fire out, saved the house. So that was a good stop. Later on the same night, they had a fire up in your neck of the woods. They had a kitchen fire up on East Haverhill Street. That was fairly small, really quick, but still a loss just the same. Other than that, we've been mutual aid a lot. We've been to Lowell, we've been to North Andover, and just last week we were at Salem, New Hampshire. So I went up to Salem, New Hampshire with that fire. We were pumping a ladder, went up there, we did a lot of work, ladder pipe, yeah, but it wasn't much to save, it was pretty much gone. So, but we're up there to help them. Currently on our capital improvement projects, we have the bid out for the floor for Central Station. We're trying to get that fixed still. But there's a bid out for contractors to come and refinish it, seal it, and work on that.
Is that a cement?
It is concrete, yes. Yeah, but it wasn't built right in the 60s. The rebar was only so, and they never sealed it, so it's cracked and spalled. The rebar is coming through, so it's actually kind of dangerous. I have one guy out having a knee operated on because he's tripped on a hole in the floor. So, our other capital improvement project is radios. They are in. Lieutenant Macaron was out programming them today, so we can start using those, and that's going to be a great improvement for us because I'm instituting a fireground channel. Instead of being on the same frequency that dispatches, we had a repeater put into the command car for the deputies, so we're going to be switching to a fireground channel, so it'll be a lot quieter and not have to hear the other mutual aid companies and other boxes going out, medicals, so the less radio traffic makes it a little safer for us in a fire. So we'll be instituting that shortly, as well as we're improving our fire alarm operations. We have new software and computer stations. I'm setting those up. It was set up in the past where the two operators had to help each other, go back and forth in the different areas. I'm now setting that up so it's two independent stations so they can each operate and dispatch their own. Like one could be running a fire while the other one dispatches other calls. So they can run independently, and much improved software, which is also going to put iPads in our trucks so we can have digital readouts of where we're going. Mapping shows the water system. We'll put the layer in there. Water size mains and hydrants in their locations, which just make it all easier. You know, rather than trying to keep everything to memory in our paper maps, we'll have digital work. Also, with the budget this year, I was able to gain 2 new positions. I'm getting a budget and finance person, a civilian position to help me do my budget, as my lieutenant is retiring in September, October time frame. And he does a lot of that for me now, so we'll have a civilian position for that. That lieutenant position will become a full-time fire prevention, fire investigator, which is good because our fire prevention division is very busy, very overworked for 5 guys. There's a lot of work that goes on there, so this will add to that. I also gained a lieutenant in fire alarm. Those 8 people that work up there are really unsupervised. They're kind of on their own, training, kind of put it together when we need it, as we need it. And in retirements, I lost my IT person. So this lieutenant is now going to be a day person. He'll be supervising fire alarm operators, training the fire alarm operators, and all new people that need to go up there and rotate through there, as well as be my IT person for the new software, dispatch software, the firehouse software. A lot of IT stuff that we always have to keep up with in the record. So that's a great improvement for us, bring us into the 20th century. We've been working with the police department quite a bit. I've been working with Lieutenant Fleming. We've been interviewing mass notification companies. We did a emergency management seminar, so to speak, to find out what the city felt they needed for emergency managed disaster services. A mass notification system was something similar to reverse 911, but we don't use the school reverse 911. So this, the DPW could use, I could use, the police department could use it, any department in the city. We had notifications we wanted to send out. We could send them out to you people that have to sign up for it, register it, but you could decide what you want to hear. Just emergency notifications, you want to hear traffic, you want to hear anything, you could get it all. So we're looking into that, seeing what the costs are, and if the city can somehow come up with that payment. Where else? My fire inspectors are out working hot and heavy. They're working with the clubs right now. We have a very big problem with hookahs they're authorized if they use electronic hookahs, but they're using real hot charcoal hookahs, which are a very big risk to us. We had video of a fight breaking out in the club and the hookah getting knocked over and the charcoal gets knocked into the floor. They're heating them up on hot plates on top of cardboard boxes. We bring our thermal imaging camera in, and we've had the wall well over 200 degrees hot, gas monitors, too much CO, carbon monoxide in the building. So we're having a little problem with that, as well as the police. We're working hand in hand with Inspection Services, the police, and we're trying to stop that before we have a real problem. None of us want to stand on the sidewalk and explain why all these people were killed in a fire. So we're working to stop that. The water department is doing a really great thing in cooperation with the fire department and the mayor's office, and the city council has approved it. We are going to have every hydrant in the city flow tested and calculated how much water is good in that hydrant, and then they're going to be painted, the caps and the bonnet, we call it, a color code according to the NFPA standard, National Fire Protection Association standard, on the amount of water comes out of each hydrant. So we, pulling up to a hydrant at a glance, by looking at the color, will know whether it's a good, medium, or bad hydrant, which is very important to us. I'm sure you've seen in the city over the years, we have so many fires and water seems to be quite a big issue. This should go a long way to helping us improve it, as well as identifying the low-flowing areas for the water department to improve next. So it's a really good all-around program. And this month, we've decided in the fire department to call June our Porch Fire Safety Month. So we made up these brochures that I'll pass along if you don't mind. It's a little tri-fold and some safety tips on what to do. It's bilingual for any of your friends that you might know that are speaking Spanish. Little safety tips for fire safety on your porch. No grilling. It's an exit. You don't want to block it. And things that we just would like you to keep in mind. So we've decided that June will be our June will be our fire safety porch month, and we're trying to push that. As well as I still have cards for the numbers. I don't know if you all still have them. If you need any more, would you like some more?
I'll take a couple.
You want one?
I just have one.
Sure. You want one too? These are our numbers, and again, it's bilingual as well. We have it in Spanish and English. One side's English, one side's Spanish. For all your friends and neighbors who might need it. Would you like one of those too? You look like you want them.
I'm good. Thank you.
So if there's any questions, that's really all I have. But I think that was a lot for a while. I haven't seen you. Hopefully that school's coming out pretty good.
That'll keep them good throughout the summer now.
For the now summer.
It's the last meeting of the summer, right?
That's right.
Good evening, everybody. Nice to be with all of you. Chief and Jay send their regrets. They're up on Tower Hill going door to door. I just left them as we joined them shortly. Homicides, there were 0 citywide. There were 2. This for the month of May. Commercial burglaries, there were 0 citywide. There were 3. Robberies, 0 citywide, 12. Non-domestic assaults, there was 1 citywide. There were 13. Larcenies over 250, there were 2 citywide. There were 6. That's actually now 1250. And motor vehicle thefts, there was 1 citywide. There were 22. Which 22 for motor vehicle thefts is an unheard of month in 1 month in the city of Lawrence. So we're very proud and happy about that. Unfortunately, we just got word that a few of the players just got out of jail, so we're already up a little bit this month. And it's all it takes, especially with the rims and tire guys. Those guys are out. They all went to jail together and must have the same lawyer because they all trickle out at the same time. We had a high-speed chase with one of them last night already, and he got out. He got out over the weekend. I don't know if was it announced before. It just means that Joe Pedalaro has now been assigned to Prospect Hill full-time now. Many of you heard the name over the years. Even when he was on patrol, Joe grew up on Prospect Hill, and he's always had a thing. They've nicknamed the Stereo Park, Pedal Arrow Park, because if any kids are up there hustling around late at night in that parking lot, or doing, drinking in the cars, or doing drugs in the cars, he makes the rest up there all the time. So he's up there quite a bit. He's walking around up there. He's on a motorcycle up there. So you'll be seeing a lot more of him bouncing around. That's the chief's new thing he's trying to get. Since the guys just came off the FTO program, they, which was last week or the week before, he's since been able to reassign people to community policing, and he's putting them back in neighborhoods. I know you folks remember back in the glory days when there was like 20 of us over at community policing. We all had a little corner of the world. And that's just, it's an effective way of doing this, because you're not just answering 911 calls, you can handle residents' complaints and things like that. The drug unit is also, it's kind of been, the whole department's been reorganized in the last few weeks, and most of it's the same, but it's just who they report to, and they formed a gang unit after these I hate saying kids, and I always swore when I became a police officer I wouldn't be that guy that said the new kids. But, some of them were born in 1994, so to an old guy like me, I was probably as old as the chief here, but old guy like me, I still call them kids, but they're off the program now. So he has since reassigned 2 detectives and 1 other individual to what they call a gang unit, and reassigned the street narcotics unit under a different sergeant. So the gang unit, the street narcotics unit, because as you've heard us say for many years here, those 2 things work hand in hand. A lot of the violence in Lawrence, the B&E's the house, the gang issue, a lot of that is all drug related. So those 2 units are kind of now married into one, along with the auto theft unit, which we call like the street crimes unit, and they have a sergeant assigned to them. So it's and they're not, in the chief's philosophy, they're not specialists. They're all, so if one day the drug unit's got something going on, then the gang unit's there with them, and the auto theft guys are with them. If they're doing a sting at Commonwealth Motors for those rims, because they were getting hit nonstop, they'd all be together and involved in that too. So it's kind of a new philosophy, and it's, we're fortunate because of the city council and the state delegation and the mayor's office who are fighting for these funds to hire. We've hired 32 people, I think it is now, in the last 3 years, or a little over 3 years, and thank God we got name tags. Chief asked when he came in, made us wear name tags, and thank God, because if it weren't for the name tags, I'd say, hey, you. And I'm sure they'd say the same thing about me. So, but it's an exciting time, like I've said to you many times. Whenever you breathe new life into the police department, it's like bringing a new baby into a home, and some of the old guard, starts to pick it up a little bit. If they got a little lazy over the years, or some of the negative naysayers when they're outnumbered by these kids again, that are all excited to be here and love being cops and love to work, and love to do this and love to do that. So the grumpy old guys, they kind of think, oh boy, I better get on the bandwagon here, because there's a new philosophy, and hopefully it stays that way. And I've been around a long time now, and I just hope it's really a happy time to be over there in terms of the new life that's been brought to the place, and they're buying new cars, and not quite fire trucks, but they're buying new cruisers and that kind of. And we too are in the middle of thank God, we too are in the middle of a radio upgrade, really a whole new radio system we're getting. When we had the layoffs, a couple of guys, sometimes you go to police departments and they have like shrines to equipment in the lobby, and one of the guys that went to a different department came back and he said, there was like a shrine of all old radios in this department, and ours was like 6 back, and that was back in 2010, and we're still using them today. So that's being upgraded as part of the capital improvement. With that, tomorrow, and it may affect you folks, and I believe one of our repeaters is up, right? There's going to be a drone flying around. I know the water tower in South Lawrence, the water tower up on Tower Hill, and I'd probably Engine 6, because they're trying to get an aerial view of where all these repeaters are and that kind of thing. So if you see a drone, it's nobody's spying on you. It's for the betterment of the Lawrence Police Department communication system. So that's about all I have before I go join my friends and my colleagues. I won't call them all friends. Up on Tower Hill. Any questions for me? Nothing, huh? Wow.
No, I called,
And that was a little shorter than you actually think.
well, I called Jay last week and he told me,
I love when you call Jay, you know what?
no, he told me, because in my neighborhood, there's a new house, rebuilt it, and there's trucks coming back and forth all the time. There's at least 7 or 8 cars every night,
Wow.
and it's ridiculous.
That's the other
And they're
thing.
apparently working on a car, and he's gonna keep an eye on it.
One of the other things that happened with this new street crimes unit is that their shift has been changed to like 3 to 11. So we kind of worked in those times where it would, stuff like that would be more apt to happen. But, we're here, firemen. Certainly out on social media, trust me, because I'm a social media guy. And they're sending me pictures from Tower Hill right now, and I'm probably going to get the text, why are those up yet? But, all right, I am going to leave you to yourselves. And,
Very much.
Thank you.
enjoy your evening, enjoy your summer.
See you in the fall.
Hopefully it's all safe, we all see each other in one piece.
Take care.
At the end of the summer.
We don't have to paint the yellow.
Oh, National Night Out, yes. I can't wait.
Your favorite.
Hey, Elise.
To show where the fire.
I use that. Oh, no.
I went to the beach on Friday.
Did you guys do that?
We did that, didn't we? Yeah, we did it.
If I feel rambunctious, I'll walk from here.
8, 12 feet.
I'll see you later. Take care.
Okay, who's next? Who's next?
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi. Thanks so much for having me. Should I stand or?
So you can do anything you want. I'll chase you.
Hello, everybody. I would like you to meet a good friend of ours from our church in Methuen, who is running for the vacant seat of Diana DiZoglio, and her name is Lisa Yared Ferry.
Hi.
I'll let her tell her about herself.
Thank you. So thanks so much for inviting me and having me today. So just a little bit about me. I most recently served on the Methuen City Council for the last 6 years. And we have term limits in Methuen, so I had to skedaddle after that. And I currently work in the mayor's office in Haverhill. So when Diana decided to run for state senate, I thought it was a great opportunity for me to continue in my public service journey. And so I'm just looking forward to meeting all of you and seeing what the concerns of the neighborhood are. So, and also, Ann, also running for state representative in the same district is Christina Minaguchi. She's here today.
Do you have something?
Sure, come on.
Then come over here.
Come over here.
Sorry, I met some of you downstairs, but I'm Christina Minaguchi. I'm also running for state representative. A little bit about me is that I don't have a very long political career. My career has mostly been in business, and I have a lot of experience as a project manager and managing budgets. I'm really good at reading budgets, writing budgets, analyzing them, and getting people together to come to consensus. And those are my skills that I think that I could bring to this office. But mostly I've just been very involved in the community. I sat here on the board of the YWCA for 6 years. I have worked on a variety of advocacy committees here in Lawrence for the United Way, as well as Lawrence Community Works and Jericho Road, which is now Community Inroads. And so I've just been very involved in the community. Right now, I also was appointed to the school building committee. My background is in construction. So I sit on I'm the vice chair, and we are building a new kindergarten, which is slated to be opened in September, and I also sit on our master plan committee. So we're looking at how we can change our zoning bylaws and in the town of North Andover to figure out where we're going to be in the next 5, 10, and 15 years, and finding ways to address the needs of the community. So that's a little bit about my background. I'm married. I have 3 kids. I spend a lot of time doing things like coaching softball and cross country, and I'm a Boy Scout leader, which I've been doing for about 7 years. So I've been pretty involved in the community that way. And it's just a little bit about me.
Thank you.
Very good.
Good.
This young lady over here, we don't know her.
Yes, you do.
And Lisa and I are not sisters, contrary to popular belief.
Right in there.
I did sneak in. Played by the arc downstairs. But yes, I snuck in. So the election's on September 4th, the day after Labor Day. It's an odd day to vote, but the day after Labor Day, vote September 4th. What's happening up in District A? In the
We're all too
neighborhood?
old to know. Not much. Anybody else wanna? You wanna do the minutes?
Sure. May 16, 2018, David called the meeting to order about 6:10. Due to time constraint, he invited the candidate for Senate, Barry Feingold, to speak to the group. Candidate Feingold provided some background and asked everyone in attendance to consider casting their vote for him in the September primary and November election this fall. He left some materials for people to pick up. M. Paul Inicello, the Register of Deeds for Northern Essex County, spoke to the group about services that are provided free of charge to residents. He explained there are some scams out there that charge a fee of up to $400 to provide a copy of your deed, which he wants everyone to know you can obtain that for free from the registry. He also left paperwork for residents' consideration about services which they provide. Then the deputy fire chief provided the fire report, cautioned members to remember to change their batteries in the fire and carbon monoxide monitors, and they recommend that's done every time you change the clock, so it's easy to remember. Chief Roy Vass, who was recently appointed permanent chief, gave a brief overview of some of the changes which he's making and has made already in the police department, and invited members to let him know of any questions they may have or suggestions to help improve the working relationship between the police and the community. The chief's trying to get a number of community meetings to open conversations between police and community. Officer Aguirre provided the monthly statistical report, robberies, burglaries, auto theft for our area as well as citywide. He asked if there were any questions and also encouraged communications between the police and community. They're trying to put more police in the community so that people feel they have a better connection. And they reminded people that if they're not comfortable providing personal information, there's a text-to-tip form that can be used, and it doesn't require a name, and the way it's submitted, they have no way of tracking you back. And then Jim provided the treasurer's report. We mentioned he had closed the bank account since the bank was starting to charge another fee because of the balance. And he reminded everyone that the June meeting would be the last one before the summer break. Jackie mentioned the Lawrence Neighborhood Association Partnership is hosting a pizza fest on Wednesday, June 13th from 6 to 8, which ended up being postponed. It's a fundraiser for National Night Out as well as the fireworks for 4th of July. And National Night Out this year is August 6th citywide and August 7th for the block parties. And then David asked if there was anyone else that wanted to speak. And since there was not, the meeting ended about 7:35. So those are the notes I had. Any changes or recommendations? Good job.
Does anybody else want
Thanks.
to speak?
Do you have a final report? No?
No.
Treasurer, okay.
We still have the same amount of money.
Okay. Hasn't changed.
The bank didn't steal any. Well, does somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
Okay, I'll take that. I'll make a motion we adjourn.
I want to second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.